निताय चांद की जय जय श्री सचिनंद निताय चांद की जय जय श्री प्यारी सचिनंद निताय चांद की Guru Sevak's introduction was beautiful, but not worthy for me, because they're fallen souls. You know, I was thinking while I was sitting there, what was I going to say? I can't even compare myself. You know, in Punjab they say, "Kaan bol diya, boli jaan." Do we understand that? Yeah? But in Vaishnavism, one shouldn't even compare himself to a crow. Why? Kakapashandi crow. During Lord Ram's Leela, Guruji, he came because he wanted his doubts, yeah? So he came within an 80-mile radius. Yeah? जय श्री प्यारे सचिनंद निताय चांद की जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय श्रीलो नरसिंह देव की श्री राधा माधव की श्री शालिग्राम शिlas की. So you can't even compare yourself to a crow. Why? Even Kakapashandi, he has Leela. So we're not going to go into, otherwise we're ignorant as I am. So you can't. Even though in every community, in every culture, not everybody is the same. Not everybody reads the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita. But there's always the rare one. So Kakapashandi, he was rare. You know, in Shaligram Shila, has anybody read about Shaligram Shila? That within a 2-mile radius, anybody leaving their body, you're liberated. You're saved within a 2-mile radius. Yeah? The Lord's from the Pacific Lake River. Yeah? Shaligram Shila. Within a 2-mile radius. Yeah? But the Lord's devotees within an 80-mile radius. Yeah? 80-mile radius, Guruji's already doubts was cleared. Yeah? So I was sitting there and I'm thinking, so I can't compare myself to that. I should compare myself to a sparrow. Then I remembered Guruji came to save the sparrow's eggs. Because sparrow was little bit. Everybody know the size of a sparrow? Chidi jinni hundi hai pindaं vich choti choti hundi hai. Bhaਵੇਂ Gujarat jao, Kashmir jao, sparrow choti choti. It was drinking the ocean. So a sparrow is a very small bird. So it was trying to save its eggs. But the Lord's devotee, Guruji, he came to support his devotee. He said to the ocean, give the eggs back, otherwise I'm going to drink you dry. So can't even compare myself to that. Yeah? Then it says in our Bhagavatam, in our scriptures, that one should be humbler than a blade of grass. I can't compare myself, because the Pandavas, they live at the Kunja, they say grass. So they were so humble, they wanted the dust of the Lord's devotees to be constantly. Yeah? Somebody will say ant or spider. But when Lord Ram was trying to make a bridge, right? Everybody was helping. An ant was just rolling sand. Somebody with like a Punjabi mentality, come on, you're holding up the making of the bridge. But the Lord said, no, they're not holding up. That's their ability. They're doing to their ability. Yeah? So, I do apologize, but I'm not worthy to sit here compared to, we have scholars within our temple, but this fallen soul will just quickly because I didn't bring my Chaitanya Bhagavat. So from memory, which is not very good anyway, we'll try to quickly remember the Lord's pastimes, because it was Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance day. So if you remember from the appearance day, the last bit of the katha that Guru Sevak gave, it started, the ending, that on the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was an eclipse of the moon. Yeah? Graya Saga. So nobody wants auspiciousness, do they, in their life? So if you remember, Guru Sevak said everybody was there. So it wasn't just the Hindu community or the Vaishnava community, all of Navadvip was there. Because whether you're Muslim, whether you're whatever you are, you don't want auspiciousness, because even the Muslims believe in Grah. So everybody was there. When the Lord was born, they were at the Gangaji, chanting. And when you're saying, oh, the Muslims, they were listening to the Lord's name being said. So everybody was worthy on that night to receive the Lord. Right? Everybody, nobody, no discrimination. Whether you, whatever you were at the time, whether you're Muslim, standard Hindu, Vaishnava, it doesn't matter. You were worthy in that area to receive the Lord, because the Lord made it as such that everybody would greet him. Because if you don't greet him, then you're aparadhi. You committed an offense. Yeah? So please forgive if I make any offenses in trying to glorify the Lord, because I'm sure Guru Sevak is like 100 times, or even the other devotees here, more than worthy. So on that night, you can compare these Leelas with Krishna, because they're none different. When Shri Krishna came, all the demigods came with gifts, and it was none different. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, they all came with gifts. How do you know they came? Because it's written, if you read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that when Satyama would come, she would see like shadows quickly disappearing in the backgrounds. And she would even invite somebody to get rid of the spirits in the house, so her son would be safe. Even Lord Shivji came, Brahma, Indra, all of them came. Chandrama, Surya, they all came to get mercy. Some of them are even born before the Lord came. Some of them took birth at the same time, plus and minus, echoed 1 or 2 days here and there. Yeah? And then some came just after. But it is such, the pastimes, you know, everybody remembers the pastime of the fruit seller from Krishna's pastimes. Because we are going to quickly just try and move forward. It's the same. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, it was a jas. How do you say that in English? Buttermilk sala. Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was that beautiful that when the buttermilk sala, so you can't say lassi, because there's a difference between buttermilk and lassi. Buttermilk is still lassi, but butter still has makhan in it. Yeah? It still has remnants of makhan in it. So there's a difference between lassi. Lassi is as such that you've turned everything out, there's nothing left. Yeah, buttermilk, it still has, the lassi has makhan bits in there. But these devotees at the time, they were very poor. They weren't rich. The sellers, a bit like the fruit seller from Krishna's time. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know, like when you see the babies, they smile. You can't but say to Leela, just have it. Yeah, just have it. So the Leela was like that with the buttermilk seller. The buttermilk was like that. It was he never made a sale all day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he goes, give me buttermilk. He goes, how much are you going to pay? He goes, I'm not going to pay anything. And then with that enchantment, the devotee carried on pouring, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carried on drinking. He drank all the buttermilk. There was nothing more left. And the poor seller, he's going back to his ashram, thinking, the Lord was so beautiful. He was wearing this, he was wearing that. His neck was adorned with this. Yeah. So, while the seller was thinking like this and walking home, by the time he got home, the load was getting heavier and heavier. So by the time he got back to home, the hut, it was a hut because they used to be made. And when he saw, well, I sold everything, he didn't even pay me. Why is this getting heavier? Why is it like this? And when he went home, took it down, it was full with jewels. The Lord paid in full in jewels. Why? Why did the Lord? Because the devotee gave from the heart, because he saw the Lord smile. The enchantment, the beautiful lotus-like eyes, gave just like that. And then Guru Sevak talked about the two thieves that came. They saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they were disillusioned. They would end up back at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house or not far from it. Not far from it. And they were looking, and then by the time these two, they got tired. They've been carrying the Lord. Who can carry the Lord on their shoulders? But the Lord gave opportunity to each and every one. They're all from previous Leelas. So he gave them opportunity to carry him. Not just anybody like myself can say, yeah, I lifted the Lord. I was walking around the streets and I came back. It's not like that. The Lord engaged certain souls to fulfill his pastimes. And they would end up back at the same place. When also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a child, anybody can liberate human beings. Yeah? But you heard the Jarasan forest Lila by Jarasan forest. What? Jarakan forest, where tigers, deers, they were all dancing. But go back a few years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to have a puppy. He took it because they had given pups and he took it home. I love that Leela because I like keeping dogs, but Vaishnava families, we shouldn't keep dogs. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took it home. He was getting told off by his mother. You cannot, we are Vaishnavas. You're the son of Jagannath Mishra. What will society say? Nimar was like, okay, it's my puppy. But then one day he had tied it and he went to bathe. And then his friend came running saying, while you were bathing, Sachiman, she's let go and released the dog. But how fortunate was this dog? This puppy had association with the Lord, and the dog was chanting. He was swaying side to side, side to side. The Lord couldn't see separation from his devotee. The devotee couldn't see separation. This dog, while he was traveling, he actually passed away. And who came? A palanquin came to take this soul back to Godhead. Yes? We got two hands, two legs. What's the difference? What's the difference? The intelligence. We can think, we can decide. Yeah? What did the dog do? The dog, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became his master. How merciful, how lucky it's written is this dog. That a palanquin came, a gold palanquin came and took him to Vaikuntha Loka. A dog. And then you heard the story from Guru Sevak about the Digvijay. At what age? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wasn't even 11 or 11. Defeated such a Digvijay. And you remember, Guru Sevak said, Digvijay. What is Digvijay? The one who has taken letters from every religious school, from Kashmir, coming down, that have defeated you. I've defeated you. Your students are my students. And he had gained wealth this way. He had a bodyguards traveling with him to protect elephants, servants, disciples. He was like a king. He was traveling like a king. Wherever he would park up, they would put tents up, eat fruit. Everything would be cooked, ready. Like Guru Sevak said, they knew. But at that time, Navadvip was the center of the universe for learning in Bharat. It's not a coincidence. Chaitanya Prabhu was the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you read about it, the history, the center of learning actually moved around all over Bharat. Even like here in the UK, we say the capital is London. But in history, it's known that capitals have changed in Bharat many a times. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, center of learning, that was in Navadvip. Got defeated by 11-year-old. Could you, if you actually read who he defeated before he came down, it wasn't just no Lalupalu. It wasn't just ordinary. It was a huge sadhus. My memory forgets. It wasn't just ordinary souls he would defeat. The school owners wasn't like the education system we have today. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him the opportunity to glorify Mother Ganga. 100 verses. And he picked a fault. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu picked with the seventh verse. And he asked him to, I think you did this. Like Guru Sevak said, he was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, destroyed the sin, not the sinner. Yeah, in such a moonlight moment, sweet moment. At the age of 11, he had disciples himself, but he did not. He told his disciples, no laughing. Like Guru Sevak said, we will take this up tomorrow. So he went home. He was resting. He's calling, like you already know, so we won't go into great detail. And then Mother Saraswati said, he was my Lord. So he went to see, before everybody wakes up, he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned around and said, but you can't tell anybody. Your existence will be null and void if you tell anybody that I am the Supreme Lord. Yeah? You can only give up something if you have something, yes? The one who doesn't have anything, if he says, oh, I've given up everything. What have you given up? You don't even have a room. Yeah? Digvijay, he gave up everything. He had bodyguards, elephants, disciples. Then after that, like Guru said, he gave up everything. That's surrendering. That's giving up. If you don't even have a roti to eat, how are you going to say, yeah, I'm fasting today? You're not fasting. You don't have anything to eat. So there's a difference. Yes? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first marriage to Lakshmi Priya. And that was around the same age, around this age. And because Jagannath Mishra, they wasn't wealthy, it was classed as like a poor wedding. But at the same time, after the wedding, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went preaching. And Lakshmi Priya, exactly what the word says. So Lakshmi Priya, she's always lived at the lotus feet of the Lord. She could not take the separation. And she went back to God. Because the Lord went. So it was his job now to provide. So there's many discourses. Some say provide, but he actually went preaching to liberate and to meet the devotees that were actually waiting for him to come. Yes? But when he came back, Sachi Mata has arranged, after a few months, another wedding to Vishnu Priya. And there was a devotee of the Lord. He was a Muslim. His name was Buddhimanta Khan. He was Buddhimanta Khan. He was very rich. He was wealthy. And he said to the Lord, this time, we are not going to have like a poor Brahmin's wedding. I'm going to pay for everything. So if you have wealth, it's not sinful as long as you use it for the right reasons. It's only sinful if you do wrong things with your wealth. So here's a Muslim, Buddhimanta Khan. He used to manage, I think it was 12 villages or something. And he paid for the Lord's wedding. And it was such an opulent wedding. So if you remember, Guru Sevak said he went to Bharat and they were giving, you were feeding the poor, and the same person was coming. And they were taking, and they were also taking to have later or to give somebody else. So it was like that on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wedding. It was free for all because Buddhimanta, he was very, very rich. Very rich. Yes, but he was paying for the Lord's wedding. So the Brahmins were coming and they were just taking, And the spoils were just like falling on the floor as well as they're taking. And then somebody complained to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how there is no sense gratification. They're just coming, taking. So the Lord said, allow the same person to come 3 times. After that, do not give, because then it becomes an offense. Yes? Give them 3 times, they shouldn't just constantly keep coming. And the wedding was very opulent. But still, that's not the reason why the Lord came. So the time they had together was very short. I'm trying to think while I'm talking, there used to be a devotee on one of the islands of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to make cups for the Lord. He used to sell. He was such a liberated soul. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was younger as Nimai or Gaurang, he never paid for anything. He would go to this cup seller, or he used to make dishes out of leaves, banana leaves. He used to stitch together. But my memory is not as good as it used to be. Not that it was any good anyway. So the Lord went to this cup seller, or the Lord would say, I want so many cups. I want so many cups. And he would just look at him. He would say, you're going to pay me today. The Lord never paid any of them. But this devotee, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the devotee, he would chant at night, crying out for the Lord, very loudly. And it used to annoy the neighbours. Like sometimes we open the windows, and then the council once came on one Janmashtami, and sometimes they complained saying you're too loud. That's nothing new, just not happening in the UK. It was happening in Navadvip. But I can't remember the island's name, and I cannot remember the devotee's name. They used to shout at him, saying, just go to sleep. Because they used to think he was hungry. Because at the time the devotees were poor. They couldn't sell enough these plates or cups they had sewn. So he was poor. But he wasn't screaming or shouting. He was shouting the Lord's name. He was chanting loudly. They used to shout to him, if you're hungry, just eat some mud. Eat some mud so you can go to sleep. So for 12 months in Srinivas's house, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan for 12 months every night. And then one night he said to his devotees, go and get this person. because he calls for me and the neighbours are disturbing him. Go and get him, invite him to the Kirtan. 12 months in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not everybody was allowed. The people that were cynical, because Kirtan means to be joyful and loud. Not it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's how the Lord's devotees used. And the neighbor used to say, he's hungry. But look, from Navdvip, from Mayapur, the Lord said, go and get my devotee. They are disturbing him, go and bring him to our Kirtan. And the Lord wouldn't let everybody in. Yeah? He wouldn't let everybody into his Kirtan or to listen to what he's saying. But I'm terrible with names. So there was one devotee, because you have many mutts. Yeah? And one devotee, he used to go to all of them. He used to go to all of them. You know, a bit like now. Yeah? Some people, kade is mandir chal gaye, kade us mandir chale gaye, kade idhar chal gaye, kade idhar aa gaye, phlani gurdwara chale gaye, go to church, go to mosque. Yeah? But he used to go to all the mutts. And the devotee said, shall we invite him? The Lord said, no. And the devotees were surprised, because on a normal basis, the Lord used to give his association and talk to him. The Lord said no. So the devotees was like, what? No. Why? Because he hasn't realized the eternal truth is the supreme personality of Godhead. There's no this or that, this much, that much. What is it that he's not getting from me that he's having to go somewhere else? What is it? So we are in that boat. We have Sachinanda Nitachan. They are always dancing. What is it that they can't give us, or we need to go to another temple to get? That's not possible. Yes? These are the eternal Lord. They are there. Just our misfortune. We're not recognizing He's actually standing there for us. And the Lord does discriminate. Yeah? You have to take His paksh or His side. You take His side, He's forever with you. Doesn't matter where you go. But because that devotee wasn't saying like, surrendering completely, said no. And that wasn't the only time the Lord said no. I think Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, in the 17th chapter, one of the village uncles actually committed an offense to Srinivas because he was very inimical to him, like knocking payote, rolai payanda. They're always shouting, they don't let anybody in. Yeah? But that's Vaishnava Prad. I think it's 17th chapter, maybe 111 verse. Anyway, it's definitely the 17th chapter that you can find this in Adi Lila. Yeah. That he contracted leprosy. He was oozing blood, pus. And he was outside the village. He was so much in pain. Yeah? So much in pain. At the time in Navdvip, it was a very large worship of Durga Mata at the time. And to the Vaishnava, people would leave things overnight on their doorsteps to insult them, to worship Durga Mata. But because he committed an offense, so one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing And he was sitting there in so much pain. And he said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Gauranga, I am your maternal uncle, you know. In Punjabi, apan sema pende de hum. So he said to Chaitanya, I am your uncle. You know, I heard you saved so many souls. Please help me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got angry, called him a rascal, and worse. And he was surprised. He goes, but you save people. He goes, I can't save you. You are an offender of the Vaishnavas. You want salvation, you have to go back to Srinivas's ashram and apologize for the offenses. Then that's the only way you can be saved. Not by me. That is the only way there is salvation for you. So we should think twice before offending a Vaishnava. Twice. You know, it said, Jaga and Madai, that was the only offense they didn't commit. Vaishnava Parada. Hence they were saved. The Lord invited them to his kirtan. Even when they struck Nityananda Prabhu, the Lord appeared there. You know, there's only one deity. It's not even in Mayapur. It's by Radhakund. The temples are very much designed like Jagannath Puri. It's like 3 tier. But when you go inside, it's Gauranga Mahaprabhu holding a Sudarshan Chakra. So when Nityanandaji was struck in the head by Jaga and Madai, the Lord came instantly once it reported. But it is said that Sudarshan Chakra is not there for the Lord, he is there to protect the devotee. So the Lord can't release the chakra unless the devotee says. Nityananda Prabhu said, no, I am not offended. Please forgive them. Look at this, the Lord's there for us. His darshan chakra there is for us. But we are still asleep. We are still asleep. But a parrot, if you go to the temple, it's not in Mayapur, it's on another island. You have to cross. And there's a Sadashiv deity there. It's half Vishnu, half Lord Shivji. And then there's another island when you sit there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and he saw a parrot. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the parrot, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying to the parrot, chant Krishna, Krishna. The parrot was going, Gaura, Gaura. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaura. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got upset. So he said, no, say Krishna, Krishna. The parrot, stubborn. Parrot went, Gaura, Gaura. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why are you not saying Krishna, Krishna? Yeah? So this now, you can compare now, right? The parrot said Krishna came 5,000 years ago. You are here now as Gauranga. This age is of Gaura. So Gaura, Gaura. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't like that. He hit the parrot and he landed on the other island. But the parrot still never gave up. Parrot was going Gaura, Gaura. Yeah? But the mentality exists now in Bharat and all over the world with the Bharatiya people. When you say that Krishna, they said, who knows if it was Krishna, it was 5,000 years ago. Who knows? Yeah? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was only here 500 years ago. And all of us still don't know that. Yeah? There's gaps in society at large, across the whole world, but not everybody knows yet. Yeah? So not everybody was privileged to hear the Kirtans at Srinivas's house. For 12 months this went on. 12 months. And it would be loud. Hence, people were committing offences. They would want to get in. But if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said no, they weren't allowed in. It was Srinivas's mother-in-law, I think, once. She tried to hide, and the Kirtans wouldn't uplift. There wasn't, like sometimes you say, here, the devotees trying so hard. The cymbals are going, the madangas are going. And then sometimes Guru Sevak or somebody would say, I don't know what's going on, it's just not gelling. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they would dance. And that day they said, something is wrong. So they asked Srinivas, something is wrong, the Kirtan's not lifting. Then they said, yeah, they're hiding. So they said, no, got to get out. Yeah? You got to get out. This if the Lord wills it. Yeah? It is also written in Adi Lila, chapter 17, can't remember which verse. Yeah? It says there in the beginning of that chapter that he sends people in charge. Yes? He sends his devotees to preach. But love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only I can give.
Okay.
It's in Adi Lila, chapter 17. There's so many verses. Yeah? So then I was thinking, wow. Because nowadays people say, my Guru, your Guru, everything is Guru worship. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent them, but you got to follow what they're saying, not make them God. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, only I can give. But you still got to accept Guru. Still got to. Ishwar Puri became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. Yeah? And some people will say, but how can he be God? Because he gave initiation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But it's also written that before the initiation was given, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read a verse into Ishwar Puri's ear, saying, last night I dreamt that this should be given. So Guru kaun banaya? Who became Guru? Who gave initiation first? Ishwar Puri gave initiation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave initiation to Ishwar Puri? Which Sampradaya was Ishwar Puri originally in? Do you remember? Yeah. And after that, hearing the mantra, even Ishwar Puri, his bhav was love of God, 100%. So Supreme Personality of Godhead, he came, he initiated, then took initiation. In Punjabi, in the Gurdwaras, they sing, Tu hi Guru, Tu hi Chela. Because Guru Gobind Singh, he initiated Panj Pyare, then he took initiation from them. But then they say, who's Guru, who's Chela? But he gave initiation first. Yeah? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Supreme, nobody higher. In those 12 months, the Kirtans were going on. Yeah? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through all the different incarnations. He gave mercy, all those, because everybody has different bhavs. Yeah, they all, some Lord Ram, some even have Bharat, somebody have 4 brothers, all 4 of them, as their Ishtadevs. It's even written, honestly my memory is absolutely rubbish. In that chapter 17, in one of the verses, that love of God is given by the Lord, then it all depends who your Ishtadev is. Yeah? Every flower in the garden isn't a rose. So even when you meet the Vaishnav community, they're not all saying Krishna is my Supreme Personality of Godhead or my Ishtadev is Krishna. Somebody will say Gaurangi. Yeah? Some say Krishna. Some say Ram. So then the Lord said, then I bless you that through your Ishtadev you receive love of Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved in those 12 months by going through all the incarnations. But what is it? Proved it to his intimate disciples, devotees, that you don't need to go elsewhere. You don't need to read the Vaman Pran or that Pran or this. Everything can be achieved through me. I am the all-giving seed. Isn't it what it says in the Bhagavad Gita? Yes? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved it, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in those 12 months, at that one assembly, he even proved it to Haridas Thakur. He said, when you were taking the beatings, I was there, I laid myself over you. He showed his back, he said, look. And then, which sadhu was it? Him and his family was in danger. Then there was no boatman to take them across. The Lord said, I came. You remember when you were calling, you didn't have anything to give to the boatman. You didn't have any money. Nobody would take you across. Then I took you across. And you even said, take my life as payment. So you are now mine. When he was younger, even before that, the Lord proved it. His intelligence was immense. The Lord would challenge anyone on bhakti bhav, love of Godhead. But when the devotees, even Gadadhar, when he would see Gauranga Mahaprabhu come in, he would cross and run off. He would run off. Gadadhar would not, because he would know that once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu captured you, he will not let you go. He would be squeezing everything out of you, like he would be challenging you. I can tell you what that feels like. Because when Guru Sevak and his cousin were younger, they used to do my head in the kitchen. Do you know about this? They'd come out with all these science questions. I'd be like, well, what are you on about? Leave me alone. I ain't got a clue. But with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you saw him coming with his servant, they would all, you know, like just imagine a cartoon, right? They would literally do that. Then he would say to his servant, what's wrong? Why are they running? His servant would just say, they must have work. But they didn't want to be challenged because they'd be defeated. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, there'd be one day they will run to me. They will run to me. And they did. The Lord proved it again. And they say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved it. Not they say it's written, it's not say. Say means anybody can say anything. It's not said, my apology. It's written. The Lord, he gave darshan. And there's a beautiful painting of the Lord as Krishna, Ram and Gaura. Beautiful painting. On Ram Navami we used to hang it up sometimes. I think it's at Vidar Prabhu's house. So I say again, what is it that you can't get from the Lord that you're having to go to different temples? It's not possible. If we are still going from door to door, it means our internal door, we never opened it in the first place. It's still shut. Because he's there. He is there. He's standing there. Then it's up to you. He's there when the Kirtan takes off. They are there, they are with you, they're in your heart. 100%. But are you there? It does not matter. It all depends on the bhav. Jagannath Das Babaji, he was very tall. They used to carry him in, he wasn't well, so they used to carry him in kokra. What do you say that in English? It's like made out of different twigs, and it goes round and round and round and round. Yeah, like a wicker basket. But when Jagannath Babaji used to hear the Kirtan, he used to leap. He used to leap, and he'd be dancing. Why? Vishwas. In what? Hari Naam Sankirtanam. 100%. Dukh sukh jo marjiya, whatever pain or suffering, does not matter. It's done. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved it. I think we stop there. This is 5:30. Go on. So, because we didn't even get to later on. Jai Sachinanditai Chan ki.
Any questions?
Go.
Yeah. How is it that Jagamadai, they didn't commit any Vaishnava fraud when they insulted Nityananda Prabhuji so much? How is that not considered Vaishnava fraud?
Because they never actually swore at them. They even chased them around their village, but they never ever swore at Nityananda Prabhu or anybody that went with Nityananda Prabhu. You know, the first offense that was committed, like a Vaishnava fraud, is when he was struck, when Nityanandaji was struck in the head. But even then, because Nityananda Ram is Balaramji, he nullified it. He said, I do not accept it. Because that's the will of the Lord. I do not accept it. Not once. It's written, not once did they criticize the Vaishnavas. Why? Do you know why they never criticized the Vaishnavas? Because the Vaishnavas wouldn't even go near them. They used to leave them. So it wasn't possible for them to insult, because they kept a distance, because the Vaishnava families knew these people, they don't care about anybody. There's no consideration of young or old. There was no politeness. But these two were actually, Jaga and Mother, they were actually from very nice families. But association.
They're Brahmin, weren't they?
Yeah.
His name was Jagannath and Madhav.
Yeah.
Jagannath.
Why? Because nobody wanted to say Jagannath. Yeah, so the names got intelligent person shortened the name, so there'd be no offences committed when somebody says Jagannath. Because Jagannath would not behave like that, would he? Or Madhav. Yeah? They wouldn't, Jagai and Mother, they wouldn't behave like that. So they wouldn't, but they were from very nice families. But this is through time you can see that association wipes out all good intelligence. You can, whichever era you go to, the examples are there. You can go to Lord Ram's era. You would see it was because of association. What happened to Ravan? Yeah? Then you go to Krishna's era. Jarasandha was through association, and all those kings that he gathered, it was through association. Kansa, he kept Jarasandha's association. Jarasandha was never favourable to the Lord, ever. But through association, everything happens. But honestly, from Jaga and Mother, everybody kept their distance. After they became offensive and they fell from their family duties. Gaura, I hope that answers your question.
Somewhat. So is it because Nityananda chose to forgive them?
Yes.
So the offence was committed, but they got forgiven?
Forgiven.
Okay.
Straight away, there was no, by the way, there was no lag that Nityanandaji Prabhu had to think about it. It was instant.
But why did you choose to forgive them? Because Mahaprabhu called Sudarshan Day, and that's when Nityananda was like, no.
But Sudarshan is only released by the will of the devotee, not by the will of the Lord.
But even when, so basically I think Madai that threw the...
Yes. I can't remember which.
So it's Madai that threw the pot, and when it hit Nityananda Prabhu, and then Nityananda Prabhu's head was bleeding, and he goes, look, even though you struck me, please say the name of the Lord. Jagai thought, hold on a sec, this is serious, because if he's still telling me to chant, I think he must be some great person. And Madai was like, no, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. And then Lord Sani Mahaprabhu came, and they both saw Sudarshan Chakra and got afraid. Jagai fell at Lord Sani Mahaprabhu's feet, and the Lord forgave him. But the Lord said, I won't forgive Madai because he's the one that hurt my Nityananda. And Nityananda Prabhu said, but I've forgiven him, so you have to forgive it. And he goes, this aid is not for killing, this aid is for delivering. So the Lord could very easily have killed Madai, and that's what generally the Lord does to demons. But in this day and age, that's why Lord Sani Mahaprabhu is considered to be the most merciful. Because in previous ages, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna would have killed him. It's not even a thing, it just would. You know the Leela, I've said it so many times. Lord Ram was killing so many demons in Dandakaranya forest. Sita Mata said, why are you killing all these? They're my children. And Lord Ram goes, but they're interfering with the Vaishnavas because they're still my children. And then when he goes, next time, please don't kill them with weapons. So Lord Ram's like, okay. So when he came with Lord Krishna, in Vrindavan, Krishna didn't use a weapon once to kill any of the demons. He sucked the life out of Putana, strangled Trinivat, broke Bakasura's beak, put his hand down Keshi's mouth, danced on Kalia, so he never used a weapon. And Radharani said, you're still killing all my children.
Killed my children.
And he goes, why didn't you use any weapon? That's the point. Stop killing them. He goes, okay, just to make sure that you don't, I'll come with you. So Radharani is there with Lord Sri Mahaprabhu. So he wouldn't have been able to kill them. But specifically, Lord Sri Mahaprabhu forgave. And he said that, he was one was saying the katha about Haridas Thakur, the Lord told him, when you were getting like beaten, I was standing there with Sudarshan, ready to kill them. But you kept saying, Lord, please forgive them, please forgive them. Because I couldn't kill them. I wanted to kill them, but you keep saying to forgive them. He goes, but after the whole ordeal was finished, and then they went away, you weren't saying forgive them anymore. So I destroyed all of them and all their families. So you may think, oh, I've got away with the offence, the devotee forgave me. But once that period is over, the Lord remembers. So,
but it wasn't through Sudarshan Chakra he destroyed them.
But their families became basically.
Through,
The effect of the offence was still there. So that's why Vaishnava Prada is the word.
Highest.
But you have to approach the Vaishnava and ask for forgiveness and stuff. Which, obviously, let's face